Hips to the hip.
What's up, beautiful people? Welcome to KC Talks, where we discuss about the latest events happening at the studio. Weekly, bi-weekly, quarterly, we are trying our best. So for our very first episode, we want to discuss about the latest event, which was the in-house tournament, King of the Tatami, which happened for kids the last weekend, 15th of November. This was our winter 2025 edition, focusing on kids. There were medals, there were promotions, there were new belts, there were emotions, a lot of tears, a lot of laughter, but most importantly, there was growth. We're going to get into the details about the tournament, but first I want to thank everyone involved in making this thing happen. Of course, if the kids were not there, there wouldn't have been any tournament. Parents for making things happen, for getting kids to the classes regularly. Your constant support helps us deliver our best on the mats. Again, we are with the kids for 2 or 3 hours of the week. That's the best case scenario, but rest of the day, rest of the week is you. So your constant guidance in their jiu-jitsu journey is always appreciated. And we are truly blessed to be connected to you all. Next is our very own coach, Karneet Kaur, a purple belt. She's been raising our army for the kids incredibly well. The way she's been teaching or sharing this incredible art of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to kids is just a treat to the eyes. Another asset who wasn't present for this competition is Coach Amitabh. He recently joined and he's been picking up so well. I'm happy to see him on the mats. Shiv, our help, you know how much he's helpful in the classes, from arranging everything to making sure everything is ready on time. For example, the certificates were ready on time, our belts were ready on time, the mats were super clean, air was super clean. He's the one who gets the purifiers on. By the way, outside is such a mess, we all know that, but inside we are happy to maintain a very good AQI levels. And on the day of the tournament, we had the levels of 25 to 30 AQI inside. Again, thanks to Shiv. Another person who supported us a lot is Arzu, our in-house videographer and video editor. Everything that you see on YouTube nowadays is all from her. 2 more people would be Amrish Pathak and Dr. Nishant Soni. Both were on the mic, so when we went live, those were the ones who were guiding everyone on what's happening. These 2 gentlemen handled the mic so incredibly well that they were educating everyone watching at home on how the scoring was happening, what was the next goal, what is the kid 1 supposed to do, what is the other kid supposed to do next, how much time left, everything they've been taking care of that well. And about Amrish Pathak, special thanks to him. So he came very early, he came by 3 p.m. and then he got Liam and Ellie along. Liam and Ellie were also competing, but their match was supposed to start around like 5 or 5:30. But even then, Amrish got them along. I happened to ask, why did you get kids? It's too early for them, let them rest. They can come afterwards with Catherine, so that they're well rested and they're better focused. But then first thing that he said was, I just wanted to support you in the best way possible. And that was all for me. The next thing that he said was the kids should get familiar on what's happening, how everyone is performing. They should get the idea. And of course, Ellie and Liam, by the way, they've been competing regularly in the past events. But even then, he just wanted them to get used to the whole environment, the competition scenario, everything. So again, big thanks to Amrish and Darius for fixing all the technical aspect for us. We're not that good, but somehow he happens to fix everything within a second. From going live on YouTube to making sure that the scorecard happens well, everything is on time. From making sure that we are live and it's effortless, it's smooth, it's seamless. The last thing would be, few kids couldn't compete for the fact that the event was happening on Saturday. So that feedback is taken very well. Kids like Nathan, yellow belt, he's been doing Jiu-Jitsu for good 4 years now. Very athletic, very wise with the Jiu-Jitsu knowledge. He couldn't compete. He had prior commitments. He had a piano lesson and it was already fixed, and there was an event there too. So maybe for the next event, I would request everyone from the parents group, if we could have this event on Sunday. Again, we will take that view from everyone as we progress or as the next event approaches. So this was about the back end of the tournament. Now, moving on to the actual day of the event, on what went through. There were emotions, without a doubt. There was a lot of emotions. People, or the kids, they committed a lot, without a doubt. Many people got into a submission, they gave their all, yet the timer went off, as in the round was over and they couldn't secure the victory because the other kid was all on points. The tears afterwards were real. But then those were the emotions wherein you know that you have to fix things from next time onwards. If there was a submission, why did the submission not work? So that was a lesson for the coaches, for the parents, for the kids specifically, wherein you never know what happens next. Always finish or always give your best and do not delay it for the next opportunity, that if the submission happens, we'll win. If the submission does not happen, everything. At the same time, another lesson was, do not let the matches go for overtime. So one of the rules that we had was, if there is a draw in the match, for example, some matches were for 3 minutes and 4 minutes, we'll get into the details. If the match was for 4 minutes and nothing happened, or it was a draw in terms of point, or nothing happened at all, they were warning, they were stalling, of course. But if it's still a draw, then we go into the golden point rule. We would add 1 minute to that round, and it would be only a takedown battle. Whosoever sits first on the ground will lose. So that was our golden point. Again, nothing happened in that too. There was a tough fight. Everyone was making their strategies so well. Even then, if it's a draw, then we went for golden point 2. We added 2 minutes to the timer and the same rule applied. But this time we specifically mentioned that if it's again a draw, we'll not go for golden point 3. It will be a judge's decision. And the judge's decision would happen on the basis of who was attacking more, and real attempts, real attacks, not just touch and go. It has to be a real attempt. So the lesson out of this was, do not depend on overtime. Do not let the fight or that match go for overtime. Because 4 minutes plus 1 plus 2, 7 minutes of conditioning, it's very demanding. And you don't want to leave it for a gamble. Make sure you finish the work while the match was on, while that first 4-minute timer is on. Try to earn more and more points or submission in that round. So that was another lesson. Let's go into few categories that we had. We had 4 p.m. batch and 5 p.m. batch. We made these categories just for the in-house work, because 4 p.m. for us is less than 5 years old, and 5 p.m. category was the class batch wherein kids from 5 years onwards, they participate. That could start from 5 and 6 years to teenagers. So that was the next category. And in between these two categories, 4 p.m. had all white belts, but 5 p.m. had white belts, gray and white, gray and black belts. Those are the belt system in Jiu-Jitsu. So we had those two categories, those two bigger categories and then subcategories. Starting with the 4 p.m. batches, we had the boys group and then we had the girls group. There was no weight category in it. Technically, we should be having a weight category, but as you know, there are very, very less kids who are practicing Jiu-Jitsu in the country. The kids at the studio, I think they would be the pioneers, wherein first 50, first 100 to do Jiu-Jitsu in the whole country. And that too, this young, 3 years old, 4 years old. So that was the thing, that we cannot have multiple categories on the basis of age, then your rank, and then your weight class. A combination of three will hardly have one match. So 4 or 5 kids in one category, 4 and 5 kids in the other category. But then we made sure that the kids get a lot of exposure through this. Of course, you want to win with the elimination round. So the usual, just for the clarity, the usual tournament happens on the basis of knockout rounds. You lose one match, you're out of the whole fixture. You might get a bronze depending on the number of participants, but most likely you're out of the tournament. But our idea was to give more and more exposure to the kids, as in if they're competing internationally, locally, nationally, anything, they should get the most exposure. So this is why we had a round robin type of a fixture, wherein I have to compete with everyone in that whole bracket. Not just one side of the bracket, but everyone in that bracket. So if there were 4 kids, I am supposed to compete with everyone, each one of them. That was very important. Again, the competition, of course, yes, fight, yes, but the main priority for this whole structure, for this tournament or for this initiative, is to give kids maximum exposure. That insecurity or little fear, they should be done with that. Going into the photos, I'm going to have my photos over here so that we'll also show it to the screen side by side. So this way I can remember who all competed and we're not leaving anyone aside. For the 4 p.m. boys, we had Bunny, Pranil, we had Manan. Manan was the last minute registration. उनका भी पेरेंट्स का इवेंट था on Saturday, but somehow it got cancelled or they cancelled, but they just wanted Manan to compete. We had Kabir and then Nirvair. All of them competed completely at a different level, at a completely different energy. So we had a little tempo which was slow before because it was all technical, strategical as per the fixtures that we had. And all of a sudden the 4 p.m. boys came in and they were super explosive, very cute, but super skilled, super explosive. And you don't want to stand against them even in real time. It was that kind of a sight. Everyone scored their double leg takedowns. Somehow everyone scored. There was a lot of mount happening. There was a lot of guard passes happening and a lot of guard retention. There were sweeps too within that 3 or 4 year old category, and it was a treat. So the winner for that category, Bunny or Pranil, he got gold medal. He earned his first position. He got all victories. Then Kabir and Manan got bronze, and then Nirvair got silver. Kabir has got excellent guard retention, so he'll play from the bottom, but he'll make sure that nobody is able to pass his guard or nobody is able to anchor their weight on him anyhow. So he has amazing guard retention. So that proved out very well during the tournament. Then we had Manan, super explosive. And now Manan is very quiet on the mats at times, only at times. Ghar pe different story, but at times he's very quiet. He's very careful that while practicing, no other kid should get hurt. Even by mistake, he shouldn't be dropping his weight on the other kid. But during the tournament or during the event, he went all in, but yet making sure that he's sensible about his weight, that he's not going into accidental dropping of the weight that would injure the other child. So he was careful, but also made sure that he got the work done. There were takedowns, there were many things from Manan. Nirvair, silver medalist, he was the explosive one. He was the most explosive one. With every match, the moment that I would say fight, he would duck under and he would shoot for a double leg, and somehow the mount immediately. So he was scoring 6 points immediately, 2 for the takedown, 4 for the mount. That was happening every time, with every match. Lastly came Bunny. So a thing about Bunny is he learned how to walk on these mats. So these mats are like second home to him. his matches, he was very excited while moving towards the match, and he would do things and he was always passing smile throughout, as in he made sure nobody's getting hurt. He's careful about his weight, about his movements, he's getting the scores, he's getting his positions, he's winning, and he knows it. That was the thing. So this was our 4-year-old category, and they were like very, very confident boys, very confident kids, and they put up a show. That was a treat to the eyes. Now going over to the 4 p.m. girls batch, we had Anaya, we have Samiksha, and then we had Adya, we had Meher, and then also Tara. We had 5 girls in this category. Again, everyone had to fight with each other. There was no skipping of rounds. Samiksha and Anaya, the cutest penguins that we have, very technical, but throughout the classes they're not that assertive with their jiu-jitsu, but in the tournament they were very assertive, they were very confident. So that was a sudden change, and I believe not just to Coach Kearney but to parents as well. So that was something that personally even I wasn't expecting, but that was a surprise. So that was a great performance by both. They're both besties, they both wear same attire most of the time, carry the same shade bag. Everything is look-alike, like a doppelganger. And their jiu-jitsu was also the same, like doppelgang jiu-jitsu, like completely identical. Then we had Tara, the very pretty, very cute bunny teeth Tara. Great jiu-jitsu. You know that she was getting emotional in between, but slowly she found her calm as she was progressing through the matches. See, this is one of the reasons why we would want a round robin type of a structure, wherein even if I wasn't ready for the first match, keeping in mind these are 3-year-old kids, 4-year-old kids, you might not be aware on what to expect immediately. So it might take 1 or 2 matches for you to get into that rhythm. So this is why that true round robin structure really help us. Again, a quick reminder, the idea is maximum exposure, maximum experience to the kids. Tournament, everything comes secondary. So that was her transition. Adya, there was a lot of change. I remember talking to her parents during the sessions for almost every week, and her mother were always concerned that whether she is learning or not, is there any real change or not. But that day she displayed everything that she's been working on. She's such a gentle soul, always smiling, so kind. She set the bar way high, even for all of us adults. And we have Meher. She is a little tank. I would call it a little tank, because as soon as you get the fuel, she'll be charging into you and you cannot stop. She has that kind of an energy. She will get her work done. It's like she will take no prisoners. She will get the work done. She will mount you. She will take you down. She will stay on top and will not let you get up. She is that kind of jiu-jitsu athlete we have in the class. And also all of them, they earned their gray and white belt, which is the next progression in the kids belt system. For the boys group, going over the boys group, everyone earned their gray and white. However, Manan earned his stripes, because the next stage, 2 stripes actually, the next stage would be for him to earn 2 more stripes, and then we are on to the next belt. So this was our 4 p.m. category. Okay, moving on to the next category, which was 5 p.m. white belts. 5 p.m. category is 6 years, 5 years, 6 years kids and above. Again, white belts 5 p.m., gray belts 5 p.m. and gray and black belts 5 p.m. So we're starting with the 5 p.m. white belt category. We had Viraj, and then we had Eliza, we had Kedar and Ridan. We had these 4 kids. This was a combined category in terms of boys and girls. It was a combined category. Eliza stepped up to the challenge. That was another treat. Without saying him, I don't want to do it. So they were to start the event. These 5 p.m. white belts kids were the one to start the whole event. They were the first ones to start the whole competition. Eliza was little feeling nervous for entering. So Eliza was feeling little nervous to even warm up. But thanks to Amrish, Liam and Ellie's father, thanks to him, he took charge and then he helped every kid warm up, little running, little exercise, just to get the heartbeat up. And the moment that she got warmed up, she showed up in the matches, there was takedown, which is hardly seen from her during classes. So again, an immediate double leg takedown with a mount position was something that was long pending. So she made it happen. Next was Kedar. By the way, Kedar got gold. And then Viraj and Eliza, I think, got bronze. And then Ridan scored silver. Viraj is one quiet kid. I mean, in the group he's always quiet. For the personal sessions that he comes for, it's a different energy from him. He's all active, he's all vocal about things. But in the group he's always on the other side, being a little shy. But that wasn't the case during the tournament. His mom, dad were there, and also Dadu was there. He put up a show. Match started, and we were discussing it after the tournament for the next class that he came for. That takedown and mount position was a surprise. That had just happened within like the first 5 seconds of the match. So that was a different approach that he came up with, and he was excited. By the way, I asked him, are you feeling nervous, confused, excited? He's like, I'm feeling excited. So that was a little switch for him, which worked well. Ridan, unke parents were confused thoda sa before signing, not actually confused but little afraid whether he'll do it or not, kya karega, but he happened to score silver medal. Different energy again. Somehow everyone in the competition, every kid just wanted to give their best. They wanted to make their coaches proud, they wanted to make their parents proud, and everyone who's been watching at home. And most importantly, they just wanted to justify their own commitment or their time on the mats, their energy, their efforts that they put on the mat. Same was the case with Ridan. He joined recently, I think less than 6 months, but again earned his grey belt. All of them earned their grey belt. And then Kedar, last time I remember for the kids tournament, one thing that we were struggling with was that as soon as the match would start or Kedar would start losing in terms of points or position, he would cry. But he conquered that part, and he's been working to get over those emotions during the sparring or during training, and then that showed everything. That proved out well worth in his favor. He earned gold in his category. The next category would be 5 p.m. grey belt. So we had Liam, we had Ellie, we had Veer. Meera was also supposed to be there, but she fell ill a day before. She got caught under the weather. So there were supposed to be 4 kids, but it happened to be 3. Now Ellie and Liam, they are approximately 2 years older than Veer, and of course heavier than Veer. So big shout out to Veer to always step up for a challenge without even thinking kaun kitna unfair weight hai ya belt class hai. Anyhow, he just shows up. He even comes for the adult training once in a while, Sunday sessions, wherein you would see him spar with the adults without giving a thought that somebody is bigger or they know more. He'll never care about this, and he'll always go in. By the way, Veer is our Abu Dhabi world champion for last year and happened to compete in many events and always winning gold, especially in-house too. One more kid, Arif, he couldn't compete. He's also the Abu Dhabi world champion for last year, and for this year he won IBJJF Pan Kids. He couldn't compete. Maybe we'll try to keep communication better next time so that parents are aware. Parents were not aware, so a little last minute registration, and then we couldn't sign him up for this time, but we'll fix it for the next one. But going over to the same category, Veer, Liam, Ellie. Ellie is the one who surprised everyone by pulling guard, which, like, after looking at so many matches, after watching so many matches, there was always a double leg takedown, single leg takedown, there were trips, but Ellie surprised everyone with an immediate guard pull, and everyone got shocked what just happened. She pulled guard and she was constantly looking for sweeps. Now, sweeps are the reversals wherein we switch our position. So if I was on the top, I happen to be at the bottom, and the bottom person gets on top. So Ellie pulled guard, she took the bottom position, and she was constantly looking for reversals. Next is we have Liam. Liam, for the last event too, he struggled a lot, but this time he got the work done. He earned gold, by the way. He got the work done. Takedowns, yes, a lot of guard passing. He been moving around, earning a lot of points. I think it was more than 10 or 15 points that he scored during that 4-minute round. But he got one of the most technical matches. I think it was with Veer or maybe Ellie, I'm missing. But he had the most technical match for that event. Also, for the 4 p.m. batches, I forgot to mention the timer was for 2 minutes. That was for the 4 p.m. kids. For the 5 p.m. batches, for the white belts, it was 3-minute timer. And then for the 5 p.m. grey belts, it was 4 minutes timer. Now, this was the category. One category that I forgot was 5 p.m. senior kids, somewhere around like 8 years and 9 years and above. We had Siddharaj, we had Aryaveer, and then we had Subi. It was again one explosive category to compete in, and they actually held their ground so very well, all 3 of them. Siddharaj somehow was watching instructionals on our YouTube channel, on our Knots and Collar YouTube channel, and he was taking tips and noting down everything. Last event he was a little still nervous when it happened in April, in the month of April, but this time it was a different story. He got things done and parents were happy. That's one thing which is a true happiness one would actually look for. Aryaveer, one of the most disciplined kid that we had in the sessions in that 5 p.m. He's one of the kid who will get through the entire workout irrespective of how lengthy or tough or tiring that workout is. He will be the first one to finish it with proper form and will take his position in attention posture and will be waiting for the next thing. Command and he'll get it done. He's one of those generals who'll just get things done. And the same happened during the event. He earned silver. So Siddharaj got bronze. Aryaveer got silver. And he had a tough fight. Aryaveer had a tough fight with Subi. Subi reminds me of Arna. Only difference is Subi started Jiu-Jitsu now, like at 6-7 years of age. Arna started at 3 years, same attributes, both have that go-getter, attitude towards Jiu-Jitsu. They get things done. And all of them earned their grey belts. They were well earned. Also Subi being the fastest grey belt that we promoted. So in 3 months, she earned her white to grey. This has been an example now. We've set the bar. She has set the bar way too high. And all because she comes from a Taekwondo background. She has a lot of experience in Taekwondo, learning, competing, winning. So something that she was already familiar with. Discipline, she was already familiar with. Workouts, healthy lifestyle, physical activity, mental toughness, she was already familiar with. She just needed a little sharpening when it came to Jiu-Jitsu, and she had it. Again, her work with Coach Kearney, that was amazing, incredible work by both of them. So for the 5 p.m. grey and black belt category, which happened to be the last category for that event, we had 4 kids. We had Agastya, who's been training since almost the time that we started this place. We had Nimira, then we had Gio, and then last was Shevya. Last 4 matches, or the last category, was the toughest, I would say, because 4 minutes. And this is one category wherein we went in a lot of overtime in terms of, like, they were explosive, they were not letting things happen against each other. They were very careful, they were very tactical with their attempt. They knew what's on the line. So it was that kind of an intensity for that category. So Nimira was the youngest one in that category. She was a grey belt, and then of course I think minimum difference was 2 years between her and then everyone else. She was the youngest one, and also in terms of belt, she is a grey belt while everyone else was grey and black belt. Yet she stepped up for the challenge. She always does. Again, she is one of those kids who do not take prisoners. It's that kind of an attitude. She will get things done, and so did she. Big shout out to the parents who are always supporting such courage and such heart from kids. So usually Nimira and Gio would close the bracket. That would be the final match, but not this time. We had this round robin structure wherein whether you win, you lose, you have to compete with everyone. This time, the first match for that category was Gio versus Nimira. Nimira scored 2 or 3 takedowns, all same takedowns. She went for a single leg, she held on to Gio's foot, and then she tripped the other foot, and that happened 2 or 3 times. But Gio took over the whole scenario on the ground. He scored a lot of transitions, a lot of sweeps, a lot of positions, mount, and maybe there was a back take too. I have to go and check the video. So he happened to take an advantage or take a lead in terms of points against Nimira. That got Gio the win. Then came in Shevya and Agastya. Now, just to remind you, there was submissions. Submissions were allowed in the grey belt category. So Agastya had a very good start, got a 2-point lead on Shevya. Shevya was not prepared for that kind of an attempt, keeping in mind that was the first match for both of them, the first start. Agastya came in all charged up power. He happened to try passing the guard. Shevya did a very good guard retention, kept on keeping his knees, his feet in between. Somehow took some time but scored, secured close guard on Agastya, and finally finished with an armbar. So that was the first submission that happened in that event. Also, just a reminder, I can recall it now, that Veer on the other category, Veer in the other category for the 5 p.m. grey belt also attempted a submission, but somehow the round was over, so it couldn't end up in his favor. Maybe we need to fix and we need to work on that submission, that we get the win from that submission. Now the next one was again Agastya and Gio after a time gap. There was Agastya and Gio's match. Now this one match went into overtime, and it became very, very physically challenging in terms of conditioning. It was very tough. Both of them, they knew what's happening. That what was on the line. They were pushing each other, they were attempting takedowns. So that thing went on, that match went on the overtime. Again, a quick advice or the tip for all of us, even for the coaches, would be to get things done within that first 4 minutes that you have. Because those first 4 minutes are the ones wherein you can take risk. Even if things don't go well, even if you're down with some points, you still have an opportunity to finish. But if it goes into the golden point, you cannot take risk. There's so much on the line. So maybe our task for the coaching team would be that getting things done within the first timer. That would be the next thing for all of us. The last match was the one which got everyone completely nervous. It was Xavier and Gio. Gio happened to score 2 points sorry, it was the opposite. Xavier scored 2 points on Gio, but then Gio took a lead, I think 10 or 12 or maybe 15 points on Xavier by passing the guard, by taking the mount position. Again, Gio has improved so much on the ground specifically. But then, so Xavier was down with points, Gio is leading, but then came a moment wherein Xavier got a locked-in RNC on Gio. That became the turning point. I think that was a very tight rear naked choke. We do a choke from the back position. Now, keeping in mind we had less time, I think it was somewhere 1 minute or something time left, and completely tight or a fully synced in choke, but Gio didn't give up. He didn't give up. He held his ground so well, even when position went belly bottom, wherein both were facing ground. And then when you're facing downwards, when you're on the ground, you have gravity in your favor with that weight, your own body weight, plus the squeeze that you have with your muscles. There were marks on the neck, on Gio's neck, yet he didn't give up. The timer went off and Gio scored the victory. Xavier was in tears, but then after the tournament, we did happen to discuss that something that we immediately need to fix is our RNC, because there was so much pressure, yet people didn't tap. Also, for the chokes, for those for parents who have lesser idea about this, there are no tough guys for a choke. If I'm plucking the blood from your carotid arteries, which is flowing towards your brain will shut off. You'll go unconscious. So chokes are real. So there are no tough guys. You can maybe survive a joint lock, a tough guy, a tough person, but there is no survival from a choke. So those were the lessons from their match. They didn't earn a new belt, because as you progress higher in your rank, things will get tough, and they are supposed to get tough, but they earned their stripes through this. Everyone is now a grey-black. Nimira earned her grey-black, by the way. Everyone else got their stripes and on their grey-black belt. So this was the entire event in terms of the physical matches. Again, medals, competition, scoring, points, win, lose, your arm was raised high, tears, happiness, joy, everything. But more than that, there was confidence. And it wasn't like a loud confidence or like a one which makes you more arrogant. This was a quiet confidence, which was a call from the kids to their parents, to the coaches, everyone around, that thank you for getting me into Jiu-Jitsu. I can hold my ground well now. But again, a very humble a confidence. To add to this, I think the mat time is creating different breed of warriors, not just for Jiu-Jitsu, but for life. The kind of character that you see on the mat, the kind of helpful nature that these kids have, yet being so good in their skills, so precise, it's such an amazing. So usually what happens is whenever the skill goes up, you start becoming more and more arrogant, but so is not the case with the kids here. That is something that I am so looking after. That is what is the defining factor for our Jiu-Jitsu sessions, and this is how I would want to keep it even years or decades down the line. We want to stick to this path. I think that tournament, King of the Tatami, They were not just medals, but a lot of lessons in terms of growth. Again, thank you to everyone who trusted us, who continue to do so. Your support is really appreciated, and you have no idea how valuable it is to us, to all of us. Feedback that if we can shift it to Sunday is taken. I'll talk to the parents before organizing the next event. The next event should happen a little early. This time there was a delay of there was a gap of 5 months. Technically, we are aiming at 3 events minimum for kids and also for adults in a year. So we'll try to keep that pace alive. We'll try to introduce more and more categories that everyone gets that age, weight, and belt rank competitors accordingly. So it's still a process, but if anyone has any more feedback, we are very much open to it, because your feedback means better organizing experience for everyone. So thank you to everyone, and I hope to catch you all in the next episode.